What's up, everyone? Welcome to the December 19th edition of the NBA Injury Report brought to you by BetMGM. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. We have a 9-game NBA slate with plenty of injuries to talk about tonight. We're going to look at all of those injuries and their potential implications. But first, click the link in the description below, sign up and make a deposit at BetMGM, place a real money wager of at least $10, and receive a risk-free first bet up to $1,000 from BetMGM. It's a great way to build your bankroll over there. Take advantage by clicking that link in the description below. Now, starting with the Toronto Raptors, OG Anunoby and Gary Trent are both questionable. They've missed the last couple of games. In the most recent game yesterday, we saw Christian Koloko start in place of Anunoby. We saw Juancho Hernangomez start in place of Gary Trent. Malachi Flynn then started the second half in place of Koloko. If Trent and Anunoby are out, you can count on even more playing time from Van Vliet, Scotty Barnes, and Pascal Siakam than normal, but they're going to play a lot one way or the other. You also can see more playing time from Juancho Hernangomez if Trent is out, or if Anunoby is out and Hernangomez is starting for him. And you potentially could see Malachi Flynn get more minutes as well, as he's played 20-plus minutes in each of the last two games. For the Atlanta Hawks, John Collins and DeJounte Murray are both listed as questionable. Collins is expected to play. We haven't gotten any word on Murray's status. Collins coming back should move into the starting lineup. Doesn't have a huge impact on anything because he's not a particularly high usage guy, and whoever he's replacing in the starting lineup isn't somebody that was likely to be a good play anyway. DeJounte Murray is the bigger piece, as if he returns, it does cut into Trae Young's production, although Young has struggled in the games without Murray anyway, and it is likely to move Bogdanovic back to the bench. Bogdanovic should play plenty of minutes with or without Murray, but he is likely to lose a couple of minutes if Murray is back. For the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic is now listed as available, but Tim Hardaway Jr. and Dwight Powell are both questionable. If Hardaway is out, it does open up some wing minutes for potentially Frank Ntilikina, Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock probably play a bit more as well. If Dwight Powell is out, we saw Christian Wood start their last game and play about 38 minutes in regulation. We know that Maxi Kleber is also out. So if Powell returns, it's still likely that you're getting around 32 minutes from Wood. But if Powell is also out, you are getting all the minutes that Wood can handle. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been upgraded to questionable. This is a big piece of information because if he is out, the Thunder do only have 9 players. They have a ton of players already listed out today. They also sent Trey Mann and Jalen Williams, the big, to the G League. So they have 9 or 10 players, depending on the status of Gilgeous-Alexander. And then, of course, he also cuts into everyone's rates. For example, Lou Dort has about a 28% usage rate without SGA or Giddey on the floor since last year. It comes down considerably if he's playing alongside Gilgeous-Alexander. And Gilgeous-Alexander himself would look very good here because Josh Giddey is out. So Gilgeous-Alexander's production increases if he is good to go. For the Portland Trailblazers, Jeremy Grant and Yusuf Nurkic are both questionable. Grant missed Portland's last game and was replaced by Justice Winslow in the starting lineup. Winslow is inexpensive, so if he is starting, he's going to look like a good value. Yusuf Nurkic would most likely be replaced by Drew Eubanks in the starting lineup, which would give us another value center option. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, Rudy Gobert is questionable. Naz Reid is probable, so if Gobert is out, we get Naz Reid stepping back into another start, most likely, and looking like a fantastic option. If Gobert is in, he's a reasonable center play on his own, but certainly not as strong a play as Reid would be if Gobert is out. And for the San Antonio Spurs, Keldon Johnson and Romeo Langford are questionable. Langford's status isn't all that important. Keldon Johnson's is, and one of the San Antonio beat writers tweeted that Johnson missed shoot-around, and he will be surprised if Johnson plays tonight. So sounds like he's more on the doubtful side of questionable. If Johnson is out, you get increased production for everybody that is playing, but in particular, Devin Vassell and Trey Jones are going to look a lot better. So to recap, the injury news that we are currently waiting on: OG Anunoby and Gary Trent questionable for the Raptors. John Collins questionable but expected to play for the Hawks, while DeJounte Murray is also questionable. Tim Hardaway Jr. and Dwight Powell are both questionable for the Mavs. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is questionable for Oklahoma City. Jeremy Grant and Yusuf Nurkic are questionable for the Blazers. And Keldon Johnson and Romeo Langford are questionable for the Spurs.